Many people grow up believing that to be noticed, you have to be the loudest person in the room. You believe you need to tell the best stories. You think you must wear the brightest clothes. You force yourself to laugh at jokes that are not funny, hoping someone will finally look your way and validate your presence. But psychology shows something different. True social power does not speak with a megaphone. It does not beg for attention. When someone truly commands a room, their influence operates beneath the surface. They rely on subtle, psychological shifts that change how others perceive them instantly. Once you understand these 5 hidden laws of presence, you will stop trying to fit into the room. The room will naturally begin to adjust to you. 1. A genuinely powerful person never rushes to fill an empty silence. They do not panic when a conversation slows down. They understand that silence is not a void to be feared. It is a tool to be utilized. But many people treat silence as a social emergency. Imagine you are sitting in a meeting or standing at a social gathering in New York or Los Angeles. You share an idea, or you answer a question. The other person pauses for a brief moment, processing your words. Suddenly, a wave of heat hits your chest. You assume they are judging you. You think your answer was flawed. To save yourself, you start rambling, adding unnecessary explanations, and slowly undoing your own credibility. Psychologists describe this anxious reaction as conversational flooding. When you flood the interaction with nervous energy, you signal to the room that you are uncomfortable in your own skin. You hand over your power. Subtle dominance requires the exact opposite behavior. You speak clearly, you finish your sentence, and then you stop. You let your words rest in the air. If a pause occurs, you look the other person in the eye and remain completely still. You hold the space. When you refuse to rush the silence, the psychological weight shifts back to the other person. They will instinctively feel the need to fill the gap, making them the one trying to please you. Control your pace. Protect your stillness. 2. A grounded individual never allows the spotlight effect to dictate their physical movements. They do not scan the room constantly to see who is watching them. They do not adjust their posture based on the imaginary judgments of strangers. But many people live inside an internal panopticon. You walk into a crowded room, perhaps a busy coffee shop or a professional networking event. Instantly, your internal narrative shifts. You think everyone is staring at your clothes. You assume they are analyzing the way you walk or judging the expression on your face. Because of this fear, your movements become stiff, small, and protective. You cross your arms tightly. You look down at your phone to appear busy. You try to disappear into the background to keep yourself safe. Psychologists refer to this cognitive bias as the spotlight effect. The reality is simple. People are too consumed by their own insecurities to constantly dissect yours. When you act as if you are being hunted, your body language reveals your vulnerability. To quietly dominate, you must deliberately claim your physical space. When you sit down, don't huddle into a ball. Place your arms comfortably on the armrests or table. Let your shoulders drop. Walk with a steady, unhurried cadence, as if you already own the floor beneath your feet. You don't need to be aggressive or loud to be noticed. When you move with unbothered comfort, people notice your lack of fear. That lack of fear is incredibly rare. They will look at you not because you demanded it, but because your calm posture demands respect. 3. An influential communicator never interrupts someone to prove their own worth. They do not cut people off mid-sentence to share a better story or a smarter point. They do not treat conversations as a competitive sport where the person who speaks the most wins. But many individuals use speech as a defensive shield. You are listening to a colleague or a friend talk about their recent success. Instead of truly hearing them, your mind is racing. You are waiting for a tiny gap to jump in. When they pause to breathe, you slide your own story in. Oh, that's cool, but let me tell you about what happened to me last week. You think you are connecting. You believe you are showing how relatable you are. Psychologists call this pattern conversational narcissism. When you constantly pull the focus back to yourself, you don't look important. You look desperate for validation. You signal to the other person that their reality does not matter to you. The most subtle way to dominate a social interaction is through receptive silence. When someone else speaks, give them your absolute undivided attention. Do not nod your head frantically like a bobblehead. Listen quietly. Let them finish their entire thought. When they stop talking, wait 1 full second before you respond. This simple delay shows that you actually processed their words instead of just waiting for your turn to perform. When you finally speak, your response will carry 10 times more weight because it was born out of genuine observation. People love to be truly seen. By providing that rare experience, you become the emotional anchor of the interaction. 4. A high-value individual never over-explains their personal decisions or boundaries. They do not provide a long list of excuses when they say no. They do not apologize for prioritizing their own time, energy, or career goals. But many people suffer from a deep-seated need for permission. Imagine someone asks you to attend an event you simply do not have the bandwidth for. Instead of a clean refusal, you begin to stutter. You tell a long, winding story about how busy you are, how your car has issues, or how tired you feel. You offer a mountain of justifications because you are terrified of their disappointment. You believe that if you don't explain yourself, they will think you are a bad person. Psychologists describe this behavior as justification anxiety. When you over-explain, you inadvertently send a message that your decisions are open for debate. You give the other person the leverage to counter your excuses and push past your boundaries. True social authority uses a concept known as subaudible signaling. Your boundaries do not need a legal defense framework. A simple, polite statement is entirely sufficient. I won't be able to make it this time, but thank you for asking. No excuses. No desperate apologies. When you state your reality cleanly and leave it there, you signal an immense amount of internal certainty. You show that you respect your own time, which automatically forces others to respect it too. You don't build respect by being constantly available. You build respect by treating your presence as a premium resource. 5. A truly magnetic person never chases after people who pull away from them. They do not send double texts when ignored. They do not alter their personality to regain the attention of someone who has grown cold or distant. But many people mistake chasing for commitment. You notice a shift in someone's behavior. A friend stops inviting you out, or a colleague becomes curt in their emails. Your immediate instinct is to lean in harder. You text more often. You ask, "Did I do something wrong?" You try to bend over backward to fix a problem you didn't create. You assume that if you just try a little harder, they will value you again. Psychologists call this a validation chase loop. The moment you chase someone, you validate their decision to distance themselves. You confirm that their attention is the prize, and you are the petitioner. The subtle way to reclaim your position is to match their energy instantly. If someone pulls back, you step back too. You don't do it out of anger or petty passive aggression. You do it out of absolute self-respect. You simply close the door and return to your own life, your own goals, and your own peace. This creates a powerful psychological shift. When you refuse to chase, the other person suddenly realizes that your presence wasn't a given. They realize it was a privilege. If they want to walk out of your life, let them walk. Your energy is far too valuable to be spent begging for a seat at a table where you are not fully appreciated. Not everyone you encounter in life will have the capacity to recognize your value. Some people are trapped in their own egos. Some are looking for characters they can easily manipulate, and some are simply looking for background noise to distract themselves from their own internal quiet. You do not need to change who you are to avoid being invisible. You simply need to stop giving your power away to people who have not earned it. Social dominance isn't about controlling the people around you. It is about maintaining absolute control over yourself. When you master your silences, when you claim your physical space, and when you protect your boundaries with quiet certainty, the world changes how it treats you. You stop asking to be seen. You simply become impossible to ignore. Turn your focus inward. Build your peace. and the respect you have been searching for will naturally find its way to you.